is Alma Duncan. I am a corporate trainer, business coach, and founder of the Fabulous Woman Network. Today's Mind Your Business will be short and sweet. Why? Well, I'm pre-recording it, so yes, it's not live, but if you're watching on Facebook, then of course, this is premiering. Hopefully you are watching it on Instagram as well. I hope you still enjoy it. And if it's any other platform, LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever, still same old me. I come your way with Mind Your Business every Tuesday at 6 p.m. GMT because, well, first of all, I love to talk. Secondly, I love talking about business because I believe it is a game changer in terms of creating wealth so that we can impact our generations. We can do what it is that God wants us to do or what God created us to do. And that's why I created this. And then if you've been following me for a while as well, you see that I've changed the setting. Today I'm doing this recording from Fab Hub Ashanti, which is our co-working and event space located inside Kumasi. So if you are ever in Kumasi, whether you live here or you're coming here just for a short visit and you need a place to work, to do a photo shoot, to learn, to meet up, have a meeting, it's an event space and a co-working event and co-working space in Kumasi. Just give us a call on +233 246 252330 +233 246 2330. We'll be more than happy to host you right here in our very lovely space. As you can see, we even have a library. We love learning and we want to make sure that your time here will be amazeballs. So today on Mind Your Business, the topic is 4 money mistakes that startups should avoid. Actually, it's a 2-part series. So today I'm going to talk about the money mistakes, and God willing, next week, Tuesday, same time, 6 p.m. GMT, I believe it's March 2, I will talk about the remedies or a few solutions to help with these problems that I'm going to talk about, and then a few other things. Okay, so please bear with me. Sorry once again that it's not live. I love doing live, but I'm not able to do live this time, which is it's still cool. We'll make it work. And so as usual, I'm looking on my notes on my laptop. No, I am not ignoring you, so please bear with me on that one. Okay, right. So this particular episode, this money mistakes, has been on my mind for some time, but there was a straw that broke the camel's back. I had a message, so some of you reach out to me with questions, and based on that, based on your needs, the people I serve, I create these topics around them. And just at the beginning of this year, at the beginning of this month, I believe, February, I had a message from one of my mentees, and I'm going to read it. It was a WhatsApp message. So we're talking about money. Prior to this, sometime in December last year, I advised him to start recording his income, so that so we even talked about an app, which I'll talk more about, God willing, next week. I'm not advertising for them or anything. Like, they've not paid me to, but I just use it and it's good. So I'll talk about it next week, God willing. So I asked him to get this app so that he can record his spendings and income and all that. And that was the first time he had ever done that, and I'm so happy he took that step. But this is the message that he sent to me at the beginning of this month, February. I wish I knew where the money went. I think sa in Ghana is like for a long time, this is a Ghanaian slang. So he says, I wish I knew where the money went. I think sa between December and January, over 10K spent, that's 10,000 Ghana cedis. I didn't do anything extraordinary too. Does this sound like you? That you've spent so much, but you can't really pinpoint what you spent the money on. This was like so based on this particular message and my own story, I want to share 4 money mistakes that I believe all startups should avoid. Like, I wish I had known earlier. I didn't know. I made my mistakes. I've paid dearly for some. By God's grace, others I've managed to get out, but I really hope that this will bless you. So when I started my business, Around the same time I started my business, I had recently read The Rich Dad Poor Dad, and so I was becoming quite money conscious, yeah. And so I was documenting at this time. I was documenting my income. I was documenting my spending. The business wasn't really making any money, so the income at the time for me was my company that I was working for. That was my source of income. But I was spending a lot. I'm always spending a lot. A lot of times I even spend way more than I have. And I know some of you can identify with this, right? This is not like just me. And so even though I was documenting my my financial records were disorganized. And why do I say that? I would write, so I used to use diaries. I always have diaries that I document in. And I remember I would write for, let's say, for every single event that we had since our first event, which was dinner with the girls in 2015. I record every single expense I made. I recorded a few people donated some monies to me. I recorded everything. But then that's just it. I would record and I'll leave it there in the book. Then another expense will come, another event or something, I would record. So I had books with all these different records, but they were not collated. So I could never tell you in total how much I spent on an event. Off the top of my head, I couldn't even give you an average because I had never actually put it together, like collated it, never. So I recorded everything, or maybe I shouldn't say everything because I'm sure there were some things I missed out on, because my diary wasn't always on me. Sometimes I would be somewhere, I would buy and I would be like, oh, I would record it later, and then I would end up realizing that I haven't recorded it. So the first money mistake I made as a startup, or one of the first ones, was that my finances were very, very disorganized. I don't want you to do that. And God willing, next week, like I said, we will talk about the solutions. So even though I was recording, they were all over the place. And my receipts were all over the place. My filing system was terrible. I didn't invest in proper filing. And when I say invest, I don't mean go and buy something sophisticated, but just a simple file, even keeping receipts in, labeling them. And this is someone who studied information studies in university. My lecturer should just give me some lashes. So my filing was terrible, so terrible. I'm even embarrassed to admit it. That is number one. Number two, in my pricing, I used to just price off the top of my head. So let's say I'm having an event and then I am asked, how much am I going to charge? I just quote a figure, only considering maybe market rates or considering what I think the customer is able to pay. I never took into consideration cost. Let me give an example of one of the first few events that we had. This was our second dinner with the girls, so about 3-4 years ago. The event space that I went to seek, they told me that they were going to charge me 70 cedis per person for the dinner. And I was like, oh, 70, good, then I can charge 100 for the dinner. Just like that. Without doing any calculations, I was like, I can charge 100 for it. And yes, I did charge 100. In the end, maybe about 50 or so people paid, but of course, not everybody who comes paid. Maybe about 70 people came, but 50 people paid. I bought card. Do you understand? I bought card. Just say, how do I say that in English? It was a total loss for me. Why? I didn't consider a lot of factors like video production, transportation for different activities we needed to do, labeling, so many other things, so many other costs were not factored in. I just thought of the major cost, which was the hotel hosting us and they were going to give us food. All I thought about was the food. I didn't think about PA system, the musician that was coming to sing, and we had two people coming, one singing, one doing poetry and all that. I didn't factor all those things in. Even my own team, the fact that I needed to give them, something for, they were volunteers, but at least transportation and all that. I didn't factor all those things in. Even what I would wear, I didn't consider it as important. the dress was there because of the event. Like I got it because of the event. It was that, I mean, on a normal day, I wasn't going to get that kind of job, but I didn't consider all those things. I thought, oh, it's not a big deal. The most important thing was the food. And ladies and gentlemen, this happened for so many times. So many times I was always going into debt. Like I would finish an event, the next day I am at the bank, I'm going to get my own money from my bank account to go and pay off, certain people. And that was such a big mistake, not factoring in all the costs. And this lesson, dear, I went through it for so long because I wasn't learning. God was trying to teach me and I wasn't getting it. It took so long for me to get that. Hey, Amma, wait, sister, wait, chick. Factor in all your costs before you consider all the other things you want to consider. Anyway, so that was the money mistake number 2, not factoring in costs in my pricing. Then the next thing, number 3, so I said I would talk about 4, number 3, I wasn't making budgets for the month, any budget at all. I would just, it's so funny now that I'm talking about it. I used to scribble some things down, but I wasn't doing it seriously. I wasn't really considering it seriously that, okay, I actually need this kind of money to fund XYZ. So I was spending ad hocly. If anything comes my way and I had money on me, I would buy. Anything, I didn't have any plan. There was no planning in my spending activities. It was just, spend. And then it gets finished and we are there. There's no money. That's it. This was how my life was. This is a huge money mistake. Not planning, not budgeting. The truth is, it had to take me time. I had to go through certain experiences to learn it. And so really, by me having this conversation with you, I'm not saying you're going to get it in a few minutes and then you are done and your life is all perfect. It may take time, but just be mindful of these things I'm talking about. And remember, like I said, God willing, next week, Tuesday at 6 p.m. GMT, I will be here to give some solutions to some of these problems and a few others that I'm not even mentioning. Then the final one breaks my heart because I thought I was doing a good thing. I would give to people, give to support other causes without any plan. I was given from my revenue and not my profit. So whatever revenue that I was able to come up with, and sometimes it didn't even matter whether it was revenue or my own salary or whatever, as long as it was in my wallet and someone will come and tell me a sad story of something sad and I'm like, oh, sorry, then I'll just take and then give them. No planning. That was me. Giving because, I'm doing good. I'm helping people. Nobody is saying don't give, but there's a way to give. There's a way to give as children of God, and we have to learn it. We have to apply wisdom to all these things. So these are the 4 money mistakes that I made when I started. And for many of them, it is actually now 2019, 2020, 2021 that I'm really getting better by God's grace. So I'm going to end here, and please, I'll recap shortly. Before I do the recap though, just to remind you, or just in case you don't know, I have launched a workshop. It's an online workshop called Instagram for Beginners, and I launched it because the people I'm serving, maybe even you, needed to understand how Instagram works. They needed to understand how Instagram works and how to use it to, do their business, the basic functions and all that. So I call it Instagram Marketing for Beginners online workshop. I want to invite you to check it out. The link is in the caption if this is something that will interest you, because I'll be happy to host you in the class, in the online workshop. But until we meet again, God willing, next week. So the 4 points I've talked about, the 4 money mistakes. 1, having disorganized financial records. 2, not considering all costs before pricing. 3, not making a budget for the month or year, quarter, whatever. And then finally, giving without a plan. Until I come your way again, God willing, next week, Tuesday at 6 p.m. GMT, where I'll be talking about bookkeeping tips for new businesses. Take care of you, okay? God loves you. Bye-bye.